Now we are live. Hello, everybody on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube Land, and I'm pressing going live on Instagram as well. So, how does it get any better? Hey,
Thank you so much for looking after all the tech stuff.
you're so welcome.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a live about pulling a lover that lights up your life. Can you remember the rest of the title?
Your body.
Woohoo!
There's one more thing.
There's one more part to it. Pulling a lover that lights up your life, lights
You're
up
living.
your living and your body.
There we go.
There we go. So where will we start?
Great question. And we actually named this live. Have you decided it is impossible to be cared for in relationship? And actually, you named that live.
I did
that way. So, would you like to talk about it?
I had some. So basically, my job in relationship was to take care of others, and to actually look after others. And I had defined myself. We're talking in Access at the moment about the pillars that you use for your platform. And so my platform was based on my job is to look after others' needs and wants and desires and to fulfill that. And so I went to my first relationship long before I knew you. I went to a relationship a live class with Gary Douglas and Dane Hare. For those of you watching and that are interested in having greater relationships, the work that I facilitate was created by Gary Douglas and facilitated by the co-creator also, Dr. Dane Hare. And when I went to my first class, I knew that relationship wasn't working for me because I was exhausted all the time. And in my first relationship class with Gary Douglas, he asked me, he said, what's your exchange rate in relationship? And I was like, oh, what do you mean? And he was like, exactly, Rachel, exactly. Rachel doesn't even look at what she has to receive in a relationship. She just keeps giving. Okay. And I remember hearing that, and we all have these like tendrils, information wise. And there was a tendril went, that doesn't work. And so the whole few days, Gary would joke about me giving everything to everyone and not willing to receive. And so that's where I started to look at what does relationship mean to me? Relationship meant to me looking after other people's needs, wants, desires, fulfilling them. And that was it. That was the sum total of what I had decided I had, which always ended up me having a sense of feeling exhausted, not being cared for, nobody cared about me. And that wasn't even my point of view. That was my mom's point of view. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was actually very similar to me as well. Like I had the point of view that my whole target in a relationship is fulfilling other person's needs, wants, and desires. And because I was so psychic, I would know exactly what they needed, what they wanted, and what they desired. And I would go, okay, like I can fulfill that. And I had the point of view, that's my value in relationship. Like if I'm able to fulfill that, I am valuable. And if I'm not, like I have no value. And yeah, so everything that is,
that's lovely to destroy yourself.
Yeah, and everything that is, will you destroy and create all of that, please? And I'm going to use something called the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement. And you can check it out on Google. Dr. Dane here, the co-creator of Access Consciousness, has a wonderful video that is explaining what it is, but you don't have to understand for it to work. It's right and wrong, grammar, Ponapag 0100, shorts, boys, poets, creations, bases, and beyonds.
I just realized we're wearing the same color shirts. We didn't actually plan this. That's funny. And so I guess I began my journey of looking at the people that I was inviting into my life, usually people that weren't grateful for me, and they would try to control me. I had this weird point of view that I needed to be controlled. I was dangerous and too powerful.
Too undefinable.
Too undefinable. And so I started to realize that I was quite addicted to controlling relationships. This might be quite challenging for some of you to hear. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. It just doesn't work for you. That's all. In Access Consciousness, we talk about, and actually this is one of the fundamental principles that we apply to our relationship. There is no right or wrong or good or bad. There's a choice. The choice doesn't work to create greater. You choose again. And so it's always based on that there is a greater choice available to both of us and willing to support that choice, which isn't always easy, I would say.
No. And I get like the other like part that we named the title, and I would love to like go into like a little bit deeper into that as well, like being cared for, like being cared for in a relationship. And like I know, and like we mentioned a little bit about like fulfilling other people's needs, wants, and desires. And like one of the things that I know about myself, like I was quite attractive to people that required healing, like that people were like required
a need of healing,
like need of healing, like need
but
of
wouldn't receive it.
Exactly. And actually that was like one of the like main energy like I was like super attractive to. Like if I was just like even like someone that walked by like from like a mile away, like I would just like sense that energy
Their
of
need
of healing, and at the same
but
time
not receiving from you.
Exactly. Like not receiving, and I would just go like I can heal that. And like whatever that was, like I would just like go like that energy. Like when I like see them, I would go like there would be a drawing to them, like towards
An
them.
attraction.
Attracting.
Drawn.
Yeah. Like I would just go, oh, like that energy.
I have the same thing.
Yeah.
And so I grew up around a mom who had a need for healing, but she wouldn't receive from me. I love my mom. I'm not blaming my mom. And what I am saying is that the hangover of looking to gift to someone, and when they can't receive, then what that created when she wouldn't receive from me, I rejected myself. So I kept going to relationships where people had a need of healing but wouldn't receive from me, thinking that every time I'd go into that relationship, if they received from me,
I'm a success. That was my point of view. Like I was like, if I can make this, if I can heal this person, or if I finally would be able to make them happy, like I would be a success.
Yeah. And Edwin is just saying, I got conditioned to offer help even when there's no clear request for it. Oh my goodness. I mean, I would say that I had like this ADD propensity to help. I must do something. I must handle something. I must fix something. And the person didn't even actually look for that, because my role was to help, to fix, to handle stuff that's not mine to handle, you know? And so I had chosen, I got into a crappy relationship in Belgium I was living in the Netherlands in 2020, and I got into this probably the worst relationship that I've ever got into. And I'm so grateful for that relationship, because it actually led me to you. I reached did you ever reach this point? I'm sure you did. Did you ever reach this place where you're like, no more? I am not looking to support someone who is disrespectful of my energy and who doesn't honor me and honor the greatness and the gift that I can be to someone in relationship. And I would say that honoring yourself is your point of view about yourself determines how you create and how relationship shows up for you. And I'm so grateful for that relationship in 2020, because it really gifted me the awareness that I was not making me the valuable product, and I was not honoring me. I had all these amazing friends, but when it would come to a particularly romantic relationship, I would keep going back to healing and fixing and taking away, which was and it didn't work anymore. And I remember saying, no more, I'm done. This is finishing now.
And actually, that's like one of the ways that I'm gonna say, like, get clear on like what we would like to have by choosing things that doesn't work for us, and how much that you have been making yourself wrong, like, because like you're keep choosing, and like you're like, oh, actually, like, this is not totally what I would like to have, or this is not like what I would like to have, and like going like, oh, like, I'm like choosing all these bad relationships, and like going into the regret of it, instead of really looking at, hey, like, what did I learn from this relationship, like what this relationship contributed to me, that if I did receive it, would actually make it profitable.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. And so one of the things that I'm committed to, and you can talk about this, is when you make yourself wrong, which is judgment, you actually compress and contract, and it's a control mechanism. And so one of the things that I really had to work at for this relationship to work was the places where I would compress and contract to not allow myself to be cared for. And so one of the things that I would like highlight, if you judge you immediately compress and contract. And in that compression and contraction, that prolongs judgment and separation. And all judgment, I know that if I have one judgment of myself or one judgment of Troy, I separate. And then I get to work with my tools, you know. And one of my favorite tools is honor. Am I honoring myself when I judge myself? No. Okay. Am I honoring Troy? No. Am I honoring consciousness? No. And so then I take a look. My favorite tool is 10 seconds to live the rest of my life. Am I going to choose to judge? And I would say this tool is like so valuable. Interesting point of view. I have this point of view. Interesting point of view. I have this point of view. I will go into more on the call about the places that I projected onto Troy that he didn't care, or that he was like the past experiences of relationship, and healing that by being present with each other. Troy has this amazing ability and capacity to show up and stay. True? Show up and be present.
Yeah, and I get like that's like one of the other things like I know I personally had from the people in my life, and like really started to change with like having Rachel in my life, like first like with working, and then like we went into a relationship, and like with the people that around me, like every time that I had made a mistake, I'm going to say, or choose something didn't work, like they would punish me. And what do I mean by that? They would go into judgment, they would go into separation, like they would go like put up all of these walls and barriers, and going like, okay, like now, like you're out of my life, I'm not talking with you anymore. And like I decided, like, for me to actually keep someone in my life, that I have to be perfect. And like one of the questions that is just like keep popping in my head, like when you are allowed to be cared for.
When are you allowed to be cared for?
Yes.
Do you have to be perfect to be cared for? Because we were both healing the same thing, actually. I had to be Miss Perfect, perfect hair, perfect makeup, perfect dressed, perfect. And then you wouldn't see me if I wasn't perfect. And so when I got into this relationship, today I wasn't perfect. I had like some back pain, like some pretty full-on back pain came up for me today. And Troy is like this loving space, and he'll just be like, hi, what can I be and do for you? And instead of trying to fix it or handle it or take it away, he trusts that I can get the awareness of whatever is creating this, and support me to go beyond it. And that's one of the things that for me is it's really a big, I'm going to say like choice to show up and allow myself to be cared for when I'm not perfect. my automatic responder in relationship is to hide when I'm not perfect. And I've actually gone beyond that in this relationship, which is like quite not miraculous that you can change.
Yeah. And like, what if you allow yourself to be cared for and actually like show up for you and have yours back, even if you are not perfect, even if you're feeling cranky. And I'm gonna say, like, especially like on those days that you want to hide, like you don't want to talk with anybody, like I know like one of the things that really like changes that for me, it's showing up. And like showing up could even be like being here on this Zoom today, like listening to this conversation. Showing up could be asking a question in a class. Showing up can be like calling a friend that really has your back, going, hey, like, can you ask me some questions? Like right now I'm like in this major wrongness of myself and I want to hide. And like, what else is possible here? Like, what's going on? Can you please support me with this? And like showing up for you, like having yours back is, I'm gonna say, like one of the like most effective tools that I learned and developed to choose more and more of, because I definitely was like what Rachel was talking about, is like when that wrongness come up, I would just go like, okay, like now, like I'm just gonna go into my cave until this passes away. And with that point of view, like if you do have that point of view, like you become effect of what is going on around you instead of taking action towards to change that.
I love that Zoltan said profit can be this type of behavior I do not want anymore. So we talking about profitability and access, and profitability is when you receive an awareness and you can make a greater choice. That absolutely is profitable. That was probably the greatest profit awareness that I had, was I don't want to have this anymore. I don't want to walk away from a relationship like feeling shit about myself. Like I was up in the clouds before I came in, you know, that I made that choice to not have that anymore. And that's super cool. And then the big thing, I mean, a hot tip, if you are in a relationship with a guy who's like super sensitive, because you are really sensitive to energies, you know, and really aware. And when they do require their time to go into the cave, my old behavior would be to reach and fix and take away whatever Troy was judging himself about. I've noticed that when I pull away and I just make choices, play my guitar or go for a walk or whatever.
I would say like really choosing like what works for you, and like and I get like that's like one of the things like we have like both, I would say, like
the ability to choose,
and like I would say like we become like greater and greater, because like I know in the beginning, like when you go to like the judgment of yourself, like I would want to like take that away, and like I would say like vice versa thing with you and me. And like every time that person, like when you want to take that away from me, like
you want to hold on to it more,
and it wouldn't like change as dynamically. I would just like even like get like more stuck.
And of course, because it's a lie.
And like when you actually don't go into the alignment agreement of it, and when you go, do you know what, like I acknowledge this and this is what you're choosing, and do you know what, I'm not going to give up me or what's true for me,
and I'm not going to separate from you either.
Exactly.
I'm not going to make you wrong. I'm going to be this loving presence. I really had to work on that, and it's such a beautiful gift. I know it's a beautiful gift because I can sense
it is a beautiful gift.
It's a beautiful gift. So in that case, being cared for is me saying, here's my best friend, because Troy is my best friend. Here's my best friend. I like have so much love for him. He is moving through like some massive self-judgment. I've done that, you know. Am I an allowance of when I judged myself and separated from the beauty of me? And then I'll just be there and be like, hey, would you like to have a drink? Or is there something nice you'd like to eat for dinner tonight? And then trusting that he will move through this. Whereas my old behavior, as you said, would be to try and handle that for you.
Yeah, or take it away.
And take it away.
Mm.
But that doesn't change it, because I cannot change it for Troy. He has to change this for himself. The
Yeah.
very same way I have to change it for me.
Because like I'm like what stuck us isn't even invention. It's a lie. And like when
Yeah.
you align and agree with something, and this is like with everything in your life, if you align and agree with something or resist it or react to it, you are adding more energy. You are contributing for that to be alive. But when you
Yeah.
don't resist and react to it, when you don't align and agree with it, you're actually like pulling your energy away from it, which doesn't allow that to be fed. It doesn't allow it to be grow and become bigger. And that's actually one of the, I'm gonna say, like the most wrongest thing that you can choose if you are in a relationship.
To be happy.
Yeah, to be happy when the other person is going
Suffering.
into suffering. Yeah, exactly. Like when they're in their suffering, and I know like I love to suffer sometimes.
Me too. Yay!
Yeah, and like being allowance of it, and like I would say like it took some work to like really become an allowance of it, but like when
if I'm not an allowance of it, I'm judging when I'm doing that instead of being an allowance of that.
Yeah, like everything like started to shift and move so much faster. And yeah, and actually like maybe like I just like saw like one thing that Edwin said, and we can like mention about that and finish the live as well. And like he said like he didn't want to, I'm not sure like where exactly was that,
his needs weren't important.
And like I definitely did have that point of view. I was like, oh, like if I am bringing like what's going on for me into the table,
to the
table, like then I'm actually doing something bad. Like I should be like dealing this by myself. Like that was like my point of view, which didn't allow Rachel to contribute and care for me. Exactly.
Yeah.
And
at the start, like we're together quite a while now. At the start, I would say, "Hey, what do you need? What can I do for you?" And Troy would be like, "Huh?"
Yeah, I just had the point of view that I have to like deal with it all by myself. Like if I'm actually like telling to Rachel, like I am bothering her, like that was my point of view.
Yeah, and it was so obvious to me at the start.
And at the same time, like when you don't allow others or consciousness, like it could be consciousness as well, like consciousness in, like when you do have the point of view that you have to keep it away, like is it true that you are doing a favor to them,
to the other person,
or is it like what does it create when you do allow yourself to say, hey, do you know what, I'm actually having a very like intense day today, like I'm aware of a lot of insanity right now, and I'm actually having trouble with dealing with this. And
for me, the most beautiful thing in the world is to have someone that's there for you, and you don't have to be perfect. And I guess I didn't recognize that when you choose to be with someone who's willing to change and grow and build a living, it creates so much. Like we've created so much together. You know, Gary Douglas says, when you're with someone, the energy of both of you, you're capable of creating 20 times more than what you are when you're not together. And so that's what I really enjoy, is
if that person is like, it's not with everybody, like to be super clear. And I just want to like add at the same time, like you can have all of these energies, like we're like talking about these energies that we have with each other's, and like we have this with ourselves as well. You gotta have this with yourself. And this is like something that I just want to like get like super clear. So, like it's not something that you have to have someone else to give that to you. But of course, like if you have someone in your life, like wouldn't it be cool for that person to have these energies? And even if you don't have someone in your life, what if you be that person for you? Like what if you be these energies for you when you are going through wrongness, when you are wanted to hide, going, hey, do you know what? No, I will ask for support. I'm not gonna trying to handle this all by myself.
And I am going to say, both of us have very different abilities and capacities. You're so much greater at some things than I am, you know. And so for me, it's also really being okay with Troy is much greater at some things than I am. I hated that at the beginning.
And it's like, and how beautiful. And then like, instead of like that being a wrongness or like a competition, like when you don't go into judgment, then like it could actually like be a contribution, because like there's so many things like Rachel is able to do like so much quicker, faster, efficient than me. And there's like other things that I can do. And then like that allow both of us to grow and create even greater instead of a diminishment or a competition, which I don't see any point. Like, why would you compute? Like,
what I would love to finish with tonight is the call that I'm doing is not only for like singles, it's also for people in relationship. I have worked with people who have been married for 30 years and incorporated the contribution and gratitude and honoring tool, and their whole, like, they've started having fun sex again, they've started enjoying being alive again. You know, this call is for everyone if you want to jump on. And the one thing that I found with relationship is the moment that I go to rightness, I am destroying my relationship with Troy. And this is something that, I'm Irish, we're brought up to fight and be right. Every culture has its different behaviors and different automatic responder systems. So just know that if you are judging yourself or your partner, you are killing your future.
With that note,
you're putting your relationship into a black hole. And let's finish with gratitude, with a nanosecond choice of, I do not actually have to choose judgment here. I can be great. What am I grateful for this person for? They're always willing to show up, you know, that I can talk to Troy about anything. So we hope this live contributed to you. Check out Relationship Done Different. That's the Access Consciousness body of work to deal with relationship, to specialize in relationship, so you can get clear on what you would like to have. And if you would like to join me so that you can get clear on energetically, what are you pulling in? Like, are you pulling in someone who, have you a need to be controlled, or are you actually willing to be contributed to? You can, like me and Troy, you can change these points of views. That's the big message. Just because I had relationships that didn't work for me doesn't mean that I cannot change that and create something that does care for you. And learning to be cared for is the most beautiful gift. Truly, it's so beautiful to be cared for. And my point of view is everybody can have that.
Yes, beautiful. So if you like to explore this more, you can join the call with Rach on August 17th. And I hope this conversation contributed to you. And how does it get any better than this?
And thanks to the translators, and have a beautiful evening.
Bye, everyone.
All of relationship comes to us with
ease and joy and glory.
Bye, everyone. Mwah.
Bye.